So, customizing your carry guns. Now, this is a topic that has been hotly debated for many, many years on YouTube. So, why not talk about it again? I mean, really, it's just that simple. Now, please do keep in mind, I am just some asshole on YouTube. If you take anything I say as legal advice, that's on you, okay? 100%. But let's get into it real quick. Usually when it comes to the conversation of, whether or not you should customize or tune or whatever you want to call it, a carry gun, it really comes down to two issues: reliability and legal liability. So let's talk about reliability first, okay? Because could you modify or customize a carry gun to be less reliable than its quote-unquote factory settings? And the answer is, of course, yes. Absolutely 100%. Or you could just modify it in a way that makes it something less ideal for carry. So that's absolutely something you have to understand and acknowledge and be aware of. That being said, not everyone, but I think the vast majority of people who own and carry firearms on a daily basis are smart enough to understand that, you either have to have the knowledge to be able to customize your guns yourself, or that if you don't have that knowledge, you should take it to someone who does. And obviously, the other side of that is that you should only use parts and tools and things like that to do any sort of customizations that are going to reliably work with the gun you're using and the types of customizations you're doing. So I think by and large, with just a little bit of common sense, the idea of reliability shouldn't be that big of an issue to you. And I think on that level, as long as you're a little bit smart, it's perfectly okay and acceptable, and in a lot of ways preferred for some people, depending on them and the gun they're using, to actually have some customization, some personalization that is going to make that firearm a little bit more user-friendly and a little bit more efficient for them to use as a defensive tool. Now there's the legal liability side of things. This gets tricky. There's a lot of arguments back and forth on this. There have been very, 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 very few cases where some sort of customization to a gun has actually been used in a court case. Now, I want you to understand, primarily that comes down to things like, I believe it was the court case in Nevada, but I could be wrong, where the cop had something on his dust cover. It didn't modify the gun in any way, but it had some saying or something on it that seemed to be aggressive and things like that. And usually that's where the legal liability aspect comes in, is usually something that the layman can quickly identify on a firearm as, at least according to them, being aggressive or unnecessary or something like that. By and large, the idea that customizations on guns have been or could be used in a court case to convict you of something, it is almost non-existent. It really is. Unless you're just blatantly dumb in everyday carry and do something absolutely insane and you've done some really crazy stuff to your gun, by and large, it's something that you shouldn't have to worry about. That's not to say the potential is not there. We know there are anti-gun courts and district attorneys and things like that out there that will look for anything they can to try and convict a legal gun owner who may have been involved in a self-defense shooting. And that is something you always have to worry about. But in my opinion, you're going to have to worry about that anyway, so you should always be smart when you carry your gun, and God forbid you actually have to use your gun in a defensive situation, really, really be smart and train and understand what you're getting yourself into before you pull that gun out of its holster. So the point being is, by and large, I don't think customizing your gun is a bad thing at all. And in fact, I think it can be a really, really good thing for most people if you're just a little bit smart. Understand your limits when it comes to customizing the gun yourself, and if you know those limits, take it to somebody who can do the things you want done to your gun for you. And don't be stupid with your gun, whether it be in daily carry or stupid accessories with dumb sayings on them and things like that. And also, be very, very careful getting into any situation where even if you don't fire your gun, you pull it out of its holster, because there may always be someone there willing to try and take you down as an example in some larger anti-gun effort. Look, every gun that I carry is modified in some way, from something as simple as swapping out a grip, like on my revolver that I carry, to the fairly extensive customizations I've done onto the 3 different Glocks that I carry on a daily basis. And they were all done carefully, and they were all done in ways that I'm not going to experience any legal liabilities, but they are things that make the gun work better for me. And that's really important when you're talking about carrying a gun every day. You want that gun to be perfect for you, because this is a firearm you might use to save your life or the lives of others. You want it to be as perfect as it can be for you, and a lot of that comes down to training and things. You don't have to modify your gun to have it be perfect for you, but if you want to modify your gun, and if you want to modify it in ways that are going to be beneficial to you and how you carry in the instance that you might find yourself in a self-defense situation, I don't see anything wrong with it. Just be a little bit smart about it, and I think you'll be just fine.